It's the Jack
and Cathy
show.
Shit Show.
And there we go.
Yeah,
okay, I think if yeah.
Okay.
One looks like that's
do you
working.
Want to?
Yeah, I do.
You want to clap again, right?
Yeah, ready? 1, 2, 3. That was fucking terrible. 1, 2, 3. That's better. Oh man, we had
Did
some.
you see my face? I'm like.
I know you were. I didn't see
super intense.
So, okay.
Did I get it?
You got it. Hi.
Got it.
What's happening,
Hi,
sweetie
baby.
lover?
Hi, baby cakes.
Sexy woman.
So this is our second start right now.
We had to restart. We had to pause and restart and fix and clean, and because Cathy noticed something wasn't working with the system, and so we got rid of some things, and we're back in business.
Yes, we are back in business.
So thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so what were we talking about? Let's get back to it. So we were talking about things that I do that you can't stand and you wish I would stop doing. I think you were on your 7th thing.
Okay, I have one.
Good. Really? You have one? You thought of one.
Got a number of them. No, we just spent the last few nights sleeping in a double bed, which is so hard to do.
Because normally we sleep in separate beds in different rooms.
No, we sleep in a king bed. Because Jack Honar does not, when normal people roll over, they sort of adjust their body. They don't just roll and take up that new space they've rolled into. They will turn on their side and stay in their same space. But Jack rolls over and invades my space because there is an invisible line
because he
down
loves
the middle
you
of the bed.
and wants to be close to you.
And
view it as space.
when Cathy's sleeping, we don't touch her.
So true. So true.
I don't want your feet on my side of the bed.
You have gotten much better, and we've talked about this on the cast before. That's a cool thing to say, the cast.
The cast.
We've talked about this before, that when you would snore and I'd do the little Cath, I'd touch you and you'd turn around and go, what? What do you want?
Yes, we have talked about that before. I think I've talked about your feet poking me, too.
I like touching you, okay?
Just do it in my waking hours when we're asleep, because...
You don't like it then either.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. You're like, we're in public.
Babe, I think I'm getting a cold.
Well, go take some meds.
Okay. I just warn you because I spend a little bit of time with you. So
I'm not going to get sick.
No, you're not. Knock on wood. We had a great workout today, babe.
We did. Do you have more things? You really have a list of more
babe.
things?
Honey, you are so perfect.
Oh, whatever. Shut
I
the
love
door.
You just the way you are.
Stop it. Stop it.
Let me just push that eyebrow down.
You're such an ass blow. Oh. We had a nice workout because we were in Illinois late last night because a good friend of mine, John Vesley, who doesn't listen to the podcast, though he should, and other Nazarenes, my high school friends, showed up to watch John's band play, Leonard Skinner band called Freebird. They were really good.
They were great.
Yeah. It was a thing in the play.
They played at Ballydoyle's in Downers Grove.
Mm-hmm. That's it? That was a little plug?
That was a little plug.
Ballydoyle's. Downers Grove. Hello.
Yes. It's a very neighborhoody vibe there. I feel like I'm in the middle of nowhere somehow. And because some of the other places in Downers Grove are kind of fancy, but Ballydoyle's is really laid back.
Oh, it's a total Irish pub.
It is.
Thing.
As the
Irish
name
food.
gave it away.
Yeah. It's good, though. And we had a good time.
We did. We had a really good time. And then at some point, though, in the evening, it was getting late. It was probably 11 something.
Yeah. Well, that get together was in the works for a while. We had been talking about it for a while, and it coincided with us being in D.C. seeing Sam.
Yeah.
So we knew we were going to land late in the afternoon.
No
and
wonder
then
we're tired. We just flew back in from D.C. yesterday.
Yeah. That's I don't know why.
And then we worked on the house, and then we went to Chicago and stayed up till.
Yeah, that was brutal.
After my beauty time.
Yeah.
So I'm throwing down a couple of yawns right now.
That's okay.
So
that's good.
rude
I bore you.
I wish I could not do that because I have a camera in my face. But
So we went to DC to see Sam Thursday and Friday, which was awesome. He played great. We catch a afternoon flight back. We go to Milwaukee. We work on the house for 3-4 hours. Ooh, you're struggling, aren't you? Getting a sore throat, huh?
no,
scratchy?
I have a cough.
Oh.
I'm trying to suppress.
Okay. But you can cough. Just turn the other way. Remember that we did a whole episode with me being sick. And you called me a big baby in that episode.
I think you called yourself a baby.
I did not. I would
pretty
never.
sure.
No, I'm amazing. There's no water. So anyway, we went to Ballydoyle's, which was great. And then you were starting to say at around 11-ish.
Yes, we noticed that the crowd was getting quite inebriated.
Yeah, they were getting kind of ornery.
And
we
that
don't
was
do
the
well
time to
with that.
bow out. It was getting crowded. It was getting a little wild. And
Well, and my problem is I start seeing things happening, and rather than just walk out and go, let's get going, there's this big-ish dude, probably 6'5", right? 4, taller guy. To my
the one that was arguing with his
all of a
girlfriend
sudden
next
out
to
of
you,
nowhere,
or
he
his
goes,
wife or something.
whoever she was, all of a sudden out
Yeah.
of nowhere, she goes, what are we doing? She starts asking him a question, and he said, I'm sick of your shit. And she goes, what are you talking about? He goes, I just wanted to have a good time tonight. And then she starts yelling back, and all of a sudden he goes, fuck you. This is bullshit. This happens every time we go out. And I thought, oh, man, I'm going to have to step in now.
And kick his ass
Well, he's bigger than me, but I would
for
at least leave
disrespecting his lady.
I would at least tell him to knock it off. Like I know
Yeah.
I would say, hey, watch it. Right? And
He
if I
was
had
looking
to,
pretty drunk by that
they were
point.
both drunk. But still, that's when you and I went, okay,
Yeah,
time to boogie.
time to boogie oogie.
So we
oogie.
did. So anyway,
But that was fun last night. But that's kind of why I'm tired, because we went to DC for the last three nights. 3 nights? 2 nights? Gosh, I can't remember now. But we saw
Thursday,
Sam
Friday,
play
then came back
baseball,
Saturday. Yeah.
and he looked amazing. We met his coach. What a guy.
What a human being.
Yeah. So that was lovely, but it was
was
all back
awesome.
to back, and then
Yeah.
stayed overnight at your mom's. And this morning we went to Swallow Cliffs.
Oh, it was a great workout. Yeah.
That was a good workout. So that is a retired
Toboggan run.
run that has
yawning.
the stairs on either side of it that go all the way up, and it's
More
a
than
beautiful
400 stairs,
vista,
I
and
think.
It was packed because it was a pretty
Yeah.
nice.
It was gorgeous today. It was 60 degrees.
Yeah,
Right?
it was really a good day, but I think that's why I'm tired.
You
too.
think that's why you're tired?
How many stairs at
I'm
Swallow
looking it
Cliffs?
up. Yeah, how many
I'm
steps?
gonna guess there's
Only 125?
Well, there's more steps
Come on.
at Concordia University.
Really?
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel like there's 400?
Look
It
up how
says,
many
adds 168 steps.
Wait, what? Adds 168 steps.
So the left side is 125. God, it feels like more than that, doesn't it? Because it's so steep.
The left side is 125 and the right side is what?
165.
165.
They added 40 more stairs to the right side.
Oh.
Doesn't feel like it, though. Doesn't it feel like the left side is harder?
As you're staring at the hill, you mean?
Well, because it's steeper. I think the left side goes almost straight up.
Well,
the right side
the
has
left
platforms.
side, the stairs are also different heights. They're not a consistent.
Yeah, some are like
stair.
14 inches.
Not that really bothers me, but some
Yeah.
stairs are,
But it was a good workout. We went up there
It's
and
a really
did
good
chin-ups
workout.
and push-ups at the top.
Well,
and
you did chin-ups.
You did sort of a chin-up thing.
No, I
Yes,
did
you
sort of a
did.
slanted little pulley thing.
Well, you're a girl.
Take that back.
And scene. Action.
Yes, before I punch you.
It was a
boy
good
parts.
workout. We had
Punch you in your
fun.
boy parts.
I love it when you punch me in my
Oh
boy
my
parts.
goodness gracious.
Do it again. Hit 'em. So anyway.
All right, babe. What do you want to talk about?
So I
today?
wanted to talk about a few more things, though.
Okay.
So we had a good workout. That was awesome. Went to John's band. That was great. I feel bad for my niece. She lost the state championship
I know,
in
Linny.
volleyball. Linny
you look
rocked.
so good. Sorry that last game was not the outcome that you
Oh,
wanted,
it
but
was
you
tough
are
to watch.
amazing.
Yeah, she's only a
She's
sophomore,
incredible.
and she's starting on the varsity since her freshman year. She's just, she's
Yes.
unreal.
She is a very. She is blessed with a lot of height, and somehow that seems to be a good thing in volleyball. I
Yeah,
don't know
and
why.
she's turning it into.
Yeah.
She's just getting to be a beast.
Yeah, and she's
Just
really
crushing it.
she's really becoming a smart player, though. I noticed she's.
They just got. I think the team, if we can sidebar, got a little outcoached. her team.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
It did look like the other team made a lot more adjustments. So
what was the name of the other team?
Mother Macaulay. They've won 3 state championships in a row.
That almost sounds like a Saturday Night Live.
It does. They've won 17 state championships.
It reminds me of
Mary Kathleen Gallagher.
Mary Kathleen Gallagher.
West Side Story. So I want to talk about a few topics.
Okay.
So before we go there, though, I want to talk about my man crush. Can we talk about that?
Yes, of course.
So we were in D.C. because Sam now goes to the University of Maryland, and we're in D.C. hanging out, and we go to a trivia night thing for dinner, and then while we're there, I was telling Sam about Cathy somehow brings up my new boyfriend, right? I don't know how it came up exactly. And so I said, Sam, I'm really embarrassed. There's a Seinfeld episode where Jerry has a crush on another guy. I think George does too. Mm-hmm. And it's so funny because Elaine's like, wait a minute. I think you like him. I think you have a crush on him. That you're not. It was Steve Hernandez was dating Elaine, or Keith Hernandez was dating Elaine, and Keith really liked Jerry, and so Jerry and Keith were going out, and then Elaine's like, wait a minute, you're not jealous that he likes me, you're jealous that I like him, right? Meaning that I like, right, that he was jealous of her time with Keith, not that fat Keith took her away from Jerry. So anyway, Cathy and I go to this thing called So Far, which is a music stuff that's all over the country. Alex told us about it. Your sister-in-law Carol told us about it. And we see this couple there that Cathy knows, this woman named Sarah, who's a former model, and her husband, Steve, who's also a model, and now they have a photography business and some other things. And Steve and I hit it off instantly. So we've been talking about getting together because he's a musician, and maybe we'll start playing, and he just wants to perform. So it's the first guy I've met in Milwaukee in the year that I've been up here plus that actually wants to play. And he's really nice, about 10 years younger than us, super cool guy. And then we go to another So Far, but his wife is sick, and you weren't feeling too hot.
Right.
So I go to So Far with them. Hey, it's going to be the two of us. And I'm hanging out. And then the next morning, Cathy's like, how was it? I'm like, it's really fun. He hasn't texted me back yet, though. So I went to bed, like looking at my phone, checking it every 5 seconds, wondering if he was going to text me goodnight, had a good time, really enjoyed the company.
Asking me, Cathy, what should I say to him?
So I'm like, what should I say? Should I write him back?
I don't want to scare him away. If I text right now, is it too soon?
Is it too soon to text? And all of a sudden in the morning, I get a text from Steve going, hey, man, I had a great time last night. When can we get together and hang out? I'm like, oh, my God,
my boyfriend texted me.
I hope Sarah and Steve don't listen to this podcast.
It's hilarious.
What's going to be not funny if he actually really doesn't like me and breaks up?
I'm sorry.
Then it's not funny.
I'm here for you.
Whatever.
I'm here for you.
So we tell Sam this story. And I'm totally vulnerable, which is, what men should be. And I'm laughing about it because it is kind of funny, right? Mm-hmm. That I'm going, oh, I hope he gets back to me. And so anyway, Steve and I had some exchanges. I don't know if we're seeing each other yet. I don't know if he's seeing other people. I understand he's probably trying to figure things out like that, which is fine. I don't want to pressure him. But if he is listening, I miss you. So... You got to tell Sarah to listen to this. So then we tell my son Sam this story, and I said, Sam, I'm really fucking embarrassed, and I'm like waiting for a dude to get back to me. And Sam goes, oh, I was the same way with Coach in Maryland. What was his whole story? You tell it better.
He was hanging out with his girlfriend Kelly back in Iowa, and he just really hit it off with his new coach in Maryland, and was waiting for him to text back. So every time his phone would make even the tiniest noise, he'd be looking at his phone, and his girlfriend called him out saying, hold on, what is this how you jump with excitement every time your coach is texting? Anything I should worry about?
It's so funny.
It is so funny that but it's cool though, because clearly when you meet somebody and you have great regard and respect for them, it's cool to connect that way. And it is true that sometimes it isn't always a two-way street. But I'm sure he really
Oh,
loves
stop.
you.
I haven't heard from him the whole weekend, and it's really upsetting
really
me.
loves you.
He's probably busy and getting ready for his trip, and if he doesn't like me, fine, Steve. Don't listen to this podcast then. And and the pictures you take suck.
He's going to be gone
You're
the whole
terrible
month of
photographer.
December. Are you going to be okay?
Shut up. Maybe. I hope he texts me. I texted him when I was in Europe, and he thought that was very cool. He's like, hope you're having a good time. I was waiting for the heart emoji, but that never showed up. Just got a thumbs up.
Oh my goodness!
So I'm not
what am
sure.
I going to do with you?
So, but what's interesting related to that? Terry, my high school friend and college roommate, in fact, who was at this little mini thing we did on Saturday, said to me, he's like, "Thanks for setting this up because it was really cool to come out here and see John and other people and watch the music and blah blah blah." And I went, yeah, it's all good. He's like, no, Hoj, that's what they called me when I was a kid. Like, Hoj, it's just really cool that you set it up. And like, you get to be our age and you don't have as many friends anymore. And, you met a lot of friends through sports, through your kids and all this other stuff. And then suddenly everyone kind of goes their own way. And so he was excited about the fact that we like the same music. And he said, if you and Cathy go to see camp, I'd really like to go with you guys. So this Steve crush that I have, stop it, is normal though, right? You get to, like, I love playing music, and I met a couple of other people that are really nice, but they don't want to play out.
The music connection is pretty cool, and I've only been with you 2.5 years, but I can see that, first of all, that music is so deeply important to you, and you've been on the hunt to connect with somebody that you vibed with musically too. You vibed with a lot of people, but the music link is different. And even if you've met another musician, it doesn't mean that their style or energy or methodologies is going to be in sync with yours musically, right? So it's kind of like, I can tell you guys haven't played together yet, but he has shared some song he's written. Have you shared your songs?
No, I get more humble that way. But I've played with a couple of other guys, that one, and I, again, great time, but I'd say things like, hey, would you ever want to do a gig together? And I instantly get, no. And then I said to Steve, would you ever consider playing out? I was like, dude, we're definitely fucking playing out, which means I thought he said I liked you. Right? How else am I supposed to interpret that? After watching The Bachelor, is he? Well, I'm asking. After watching The Bachelor, is he going to other sofars with other guys and trying to figure out which one to pick? And why didn't I get a rose? I don't think those are wrong questions to ask. Would you like to move on to the serious topic of today's conversation?
Sure, Jack.
So
you always get so serious.
Well, so here's what's interesting. So oftentimes when we're by ourselves, when we have guests, it's obvious that we're going to talk to them about them, but we got to get more guests on the show. And we're hoping there's a couple in the works that we're crossing our fingers on. So anyway, we usually sit down and go, what do you want to talk about? And so we just banter, bring up shit, or we come up with an idea of something that's important to us. And so some episodes have been more designed, if you will, right? And then others are kind of freeform like this one. So it was interesting because I said, well, I'd like to talk about my man crush on Steve. I'd like to talk about The Bachelor, which we haven't talked about yet. I'd like I had a list of all very lighthearted things, and you said we should talk about the car ride home and how we really came to an agreement on some things that might have been challenging us a little bit, and how we were working on the house, and there was a little bit of tension. And so I said, I get it. Yeah. So I say, how come when we sit down to go over these podcasts, my idea of the podcast is the shit show, like fucking crap that we do that's stupid, and yours is about the depth of relationships. So then
the shit show emotionally
the shit show emotions
that we sort of dredge our way through.
I swim in the shallows, and you are in the Pacific Ocean.
Well, let's analyze why you are most comfortable in the shallows.
I think we talked about this before we started recording. I think what was missing in my life was a partner with a shit ton of humor who thought I was hilarious. And I meet you, and all I have to say is whatever that blue eyes thing I said in the last podcast, and you can't stop laughing. Like, you laugh at everything. And so I think for me, the podcast represents a way to make you laugh, right? And to be silly and fun and lighthearted. And for you, if I might.
Yep. Go for it.
you didn't have a lot of depth in some of your relationships. For some things you did, but not. And I represent a deeper version of that. And so it's this uncovering for you and discovery for you. Do you agree with what I'm saying or no?
Yeah, I can resonate with what you're saying. And I also think of this podcast as us sharing our entire journey. And a lot of that is the emotional. And I think it could be helpful to some people to witness us and hear us struggle, and figure out how we're going to resolve it and share what we're learning. Like, maybe that's helpful to some people. Maybe most people are like, I don't fucking give a shit. But somebody might deem a nugget of that to be helpful.
I'm hopeful that some dude, if any dude listens to this, hears it and goes, yeah, I had a man crush too. Because I'd like to have a whole episode of dude man crushes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How
so
long,
anyway,
how extensive are they exactly?
You want to go down to the deep end of the pool. So your call. So one last thing.
Yeah.
Really liked Bela Gandhi's podcast number 107 and 108. Highly encourage people to listen to Bela Gandhi. It's called the Dating Academy. What's it called? Something Dating Academy. I'm drawing a blank on it now. What is it? Help me out quick.
Bela Gandhi's podcast?
Yeah, what's the name of that podcast called?
I think it is the Dating Academy, isn't it?
No, it's not just Smart Dating Academy. That's it. Look up Smart Dating Academy, episodes 107. They talk to a doctor who specializes in hormone treatments, which you have experienced incredible success with.
Yeah, did I talk about it on the podcast?
We did. We had a podcast about that. And then they talked about relationships, and everything resonated in that relationships thing with us about picking the right partner and not running from yourself and all that kind of shit. So on that note, because you want to talk about the depth of us and the growth of us, we love those podcasts. We had long talks about it together, those two episodes, 107 and 108. Mm-hmm. And then we had some interesting encounters over the last 3 days. One you don't want to talk about in detail, but I do think we should bring up somehow.
Okay.
And then you want to talk about the hood and how that caused problems. You want to talk about the car ride home. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so
where do you want me to begin?
Wherever you want to start.
So yesterday when we came home from DC, we had, I don't know, a good 4 hours of time before we had to leave again. So I proposed that we both do chip away at a house project. Because really, since we've been home from overseas, we haven't really tackled too much on the house. And I'm feeling
anxious.
And that's what we had talked about doing, right? So I proposed to you and you're like, okay, sounds good. I will work on finishing the hood, the venting hood above the stove, because we have our mechanics are housed in this shiplap covered white oak wood trimmed, thing. This box that was a cool concept on a piece of paper. Little did I know what it would take to execute, and the torture.
Oh, you are so glossy over this.
Well, I'm just laying the big overview.
We designed this kitchen, and Cathy goes, I see this feature custom hood right here that would stand out. It would be like an eye-popping thing, and I looked at her, I'm like, you want me to build a hood that's attached to the wall and looks like it's coming out from the ceiling, like down from the ceiling, attached to the wall, and you're like, yep. So,
okay. I definitely, the hood is something you see when you walk in the front door. So
it's totally cool.
Making that wall cool was the driving force, right? Making it look really cool. And I thought, well, we could wrap it in shiplap. And
still great ideas.
We did not talk about, nor was I aware of how difficult that was. And a great part of its difficulty was that you have to make the mechanics on the inside of the vent accessible. You can't just close it all up, lock it down, caulk it shut, nail it closed, and if something breaks or there's a short or something, the electrician needs to get in there. You need to make a side of the hood removable. and to be sure, I was not aware of that fact when we talked about how this was going to look.
Well, and you could, just to be technically efficient here, you could have a hood where the bottom drops out, but you still need to be able to get in there and access it, which was harder to do with the materials we bought. So go ahead.
Got it. And you can just get a stainless hood or copper hood vent and make that your pretty feature, but I really didn't want to see a big chunk of metal, I didn't want it to look, I wanted it to look more furniture-like in the room. So anyway, I wreaked havoc in your world by planning this. It has been many, many months of you designing, constructing, sourcing, building, rebuilding, and then conceptual, like going back to the drawing board, how to make that hood removable, but then not. Anyway.
So it had to look like it was a hidden door, essentially.
Yes.
The hood panel comes off and it looks hidden.
It's been a nightmare, and you have cursed that fucking hood.
Well, to be fair, here's what's really cool. I actually had to build the frame for the hood attached to the ceiling and the wall before we finished putting the wall board up in the kitchen. So the measurements had to be so precise that when the cabinets came in, the sink, and then the oven came in, it had to fit perfectly. So you
killed it. You've killed it.
Yeah.
You've nearly killed yourself, but you've killed it getting this done. So well executed. So anyway, yesterday you decided you're going to finish that last panel, and it was yet again, staying on point with how this whole project has been, was a nightmare for you. You, rightly so, were growing very, very impatient. We had been up since 4:00 in the morning because we caught that flight and traveling back.
Stuff we had to do.
And we still were going to do stuff. And we were just trying to squeeze in a simple little couple hours of work before we left. And this hood was wreaking havoc. And you were getting crabbier and crabbier and crabbier and impatient and angry. And so I'm there by your side, and I'm processing all this, and occasionally I say something to, and I'm really, really just trying to.
You were so supportive.
That was
my goal. I wasn't mean to you, was I?
You weren't.
Wasn't mean to you.
To me, no. But the energy was palpable, and it certainly is not enjoyable. But to be sure, I needed to give you that space because, and here's the lesson, right? So I am self-talking to myself like, Cathy, this is just super frustrating. Let him go. Just give him the space to be crabby, basically. Give you the space to, I decided I needed to give you the space to be crabby. And there were a couple of things that I maybe had, I can't think of questions I asked you or comments, and you said nothing, right? Well, you don't even know because you were so focused. What I'm learning about you is when you are so focused, you can't even hear.
I can't hear.
It's not even that you're ignoring me. You actually don't hear.
No, I block everything out.
You do. And I've noticed that. And you'll sometimes come up and be like, did you say something? And I'm like, yeah,
it's not
I've been talking to you.
It's not aloofness.
So, and that's what I'm learning. So, the truth is we haven't known each other for all that long. It's 2.5 years, and living together really makes you learn a lot more about somebody, and then throw house projects on top of, all of that. And you really do learn even more, right? So you were crabby last night. Then you came upstairs crabby. I had an accepted offer on a house. You were barely excited for me, and then got kind of critical about the situation about it. And I had to shut that down because I'm like, you know what? I'm really happy about the accepted offer from my clients, and you're not in a space where this isn't what I need from you right now. So let's stop talking about that.
You're great at saying that. What did I do when you said that?
You zipped it.
Zip.
Right away. So we got dressed.
Can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
Lesson learned to couples out there.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I had a moment that lasted a long time because this has been a lingering thing that has been very difficult to solve.
Right.
Right? It's been really, really challenging to solve.
I totally recognize
and
that
you
too.
were, number 2, you recognize it really well. Number 3, you let me be mad. Number 4, I didn't take it out on you, right? Even though I was like, Kath,
No.
this fucking hood is going to be the death of me. Right? And then you have this amazing day. And so admittedly, in my gut, I'm like, oh, great. Have a fucking day. Well, I'm working on this goddamn hood still, right? So now you can see where resentment could start to build, right? So we go upstairs.
And that was my original design. So it's really all my fault.
But I could have easily said no, and I didn't. So I want everyone who's listening to this, if you're in a relationship, what I think we did well, God, I wish we had like the Gottmans on or somebody could say you did that well, or no, Jack, you were just a total dick, or Cathy, blah, blah, blah. I thought it was great because a couple times when I was getting really frustrated, you're like, I know, babe, this sucks. I get it. And so I needed to hear that. If I had heard, relax, it's not that big of a deal. If you don't want to do it, you agree to do this. If I had heard any of that shit, I would have been like, go fuck a duck, right? I don't need this shit right now. But you turn to me. That's the message. And so I'm upstairs and I'm cranky and you're trying to celebrate and I don't turn to you, right? Right?
No.
And all of a sudden you go, hey, I need you to either turn to me right now or shut it. In essence, you were much kinder than that, but that's in essence what you said,
Yes.
right? And I went and shut it because I was
You did. You shut it.
turning toward you.
And then we continued to get dressed, get in the car, small talk about what to grab.
And I
drove
clearly
in
I needed
silence.
space.
I drove, and you just were
On my
head
phone.
down on your phone the entire way. It was kind of decompressed. And then we do the Bally Doyles in concert, and everything's fine.
But by the way, we weren't upset at one another when we got there. I needed to. It was lingering in me.
It was lingering in me too, because I knew that I wanted to talk to you about those moments. And I also knew that the timing had to be right for the conversation to bring it up again. So what's interesting or what's notable that I see in myself is that in the past, I 100% would have just ignored those moments and just moved on to life and moved on.
What do you mean by that? I'm confused.
I would not have circled back to address the things that bothered me.
Like leaving the closet.
Like what?
Like skeletons in the closet. You would have just stored
Yes.
so it could have easily it could grow then.
No doubt.
Okay.
No doubt. And the closet can get quite full, right? Then and that's what I'm a slow learner sometimes, so I'm now 57, soon to be 58 in a
Very
matter of
soon
months.
to be 58.
5 months, let's not
Very
rush it.
soon.
And 4.5 months. And so I knew it. You're like, I said to myself, Cathy, you are going to need to talk about this later, mostly because I had been speaking to you about certain things. Like when you came upstairs, I said, babe, I am sorry that project was such a pain in the ass. I can tell how frustrating it was. Thank you for all your hard work. You did a great job. And I said it twice, and you said absolutely nothing, which is a little too familiar for me because I came from a relationship where I often felt ignored and dismissed and just not even paid attention to, not even worthy of information. And so it's just a little too familiar to me. And I said to myself, you're going to talk about this. So anyway, we went on, had a great night, laughs, fun, everything, put it aside, put it in a box and put it over here, right? And on the way home, when we were almost home this evening, you turned to me and said, basically, hey, yesterday was definitely, what did you say to me? You were.
I said, hey, do you got a second? Because we're in the fucking car together. I said, hey, do you mind if I bring up a topic? Because I can't remember what we were listening to. Whatever. I said, do you mind if I bring up a topic? And I said, yesterday you had a really big day and I didn't respect how excited you were. And I allowed the hood to overwhelm me to the point where I couldn't focus and I couldn't concentrate. Admittedly, that hood has been very frustrating to me, right? So I said, it was almost a dialectic, right? I'm torn between being really fucking frustrated with the house projects and then wanting to get them done. And then the other thing too that I think gets lost in this is I kept looking at the clock because we had to leave by 5:30, and it's 4:15, 4:30, and I'm not getting any closer.
Yep.
And so my brain's going, I wanted this done so I can relax. Now I'm gonna have to do this tomorrow. Fuck, I want to see my sister and mom, right? So that's the other thing that I think we didn't talk about. We can share now. And now it's 10 to 5, and now it's 5 and it's done. I finally fixed it. And now I'm cleaning. So I go upstairs at 5:15, and all I'm thinking is, I can't fucking believe I've got 15 minutes to get ready to get in the car.
Yeah.
I'm not packed. I don't have shit.
Yep.
Right? Because we're spending the night. So I say to you, I'm really sorry for not honoring your victories or your accomplishments here. And you were really excited, and I wasn't my best self, and I was really frustrated by that project. And I appreciate how you showed up for me in that project, because I could say that. And then you said, did you hear I said this stuff? And I went, I didn't even hear it. Like my brain was so consumed with just get in the car, get the task done, that I didn't hear a thing. So you then said.
So I said that I would like to share that I had, and I forget how I think I called it a trigger for me.
Oh, yeah,
that
you did.
I recognize, and maybe it's not so much a trigger, just it's not like I have PTSD or anything, but I'm hyper aware of those moments of when I don't feel heard. And
what?
Yeah, exactly. And so I brought that up to you in the car tonight and said, well, this is a good moment. I'd like to share with you that I truly understood that it was beyond frustrating, that whole thing. And I wanted to give you your space to be a jerk in that moment. I wanted to give you, that's okay. We're not all going to be perfect. We're not all going to be happy. You're not going to be making me laugh 24 hours a day. There's going to be moments that, we get crabby. I've been there too, right? So got to give you that space to be crabby. The issue I had is there were a few times when I said something to you and you absolutely did not respond a thing. And you said, wait, what? What did I not respond to? And I remembered one of them or something.
Yep.
And I shared with you that I know you well enough to know that you are respectful and kind, and you honor me, and you love hearing me, and you love listening to me, and you certainly engage. I mean, we have a podcast, for fuck's sake. I mean, we talk, right? We talk about deep shit. We share deep, difficult shit a lot. So I know that's the man that I am with. That's just not the man in this moment. So I'm going to give him that space to be, because there's cause for it, and I recognize it, right? But I also want to address that there are moments where I'm saying something and I am ignored. So how do I handle that? And it was just, the whole thing was such, I think we were really grown up about it. So I'm really kind of proud of us, because we have had our arguments in the past that escalate and can go on for an entire day or two and can be tearful and painful, and we are really trying to both show up differently for each other. And that is not always easy, because they're, like last night I could have said, Jack, what the fuck? Do you even hear me? Or something. And
what?
I know, babe. So I just was really proud of us, and that's pretty much the story that I wanted to share, that we were patient, kind, and respectful with each other. And sometimes those conversations happen after the fact. Sometimes you just really, truly, as the saying goes, let the dust settle. Give it some space. Give it some emotional space, because coming back around with the perspective and the just, the context and stress of the moment and the situation have dissipated in time, right? So you have better perspective. You are capable of being more respectful to that other person. And I think we knocked it out of the park on that one.
Yeah, I love what you said. The biggest thing for me was, and I want to appear not patronizing you. So if I fuck that up, tell me. I think yeah, right. I think in the past, had I been crabby like that, you would have been contentious. I think 7 months ago, a year ago, if I had been crabby like that, you would have been like, get a grip. What the hell's going on? There would have been more judgment of what I'm doing relative to how you might handle a situation. Mm-hmm. So what was most helpful for me is in that moment, I'm trying to figure out shit. It's frustrating as hell. This is not easy. The clock is ticking. It's not what I want to be doing, right? Mm-hmm. And you went, I see that. Mm-hmm. That's a huge shift for you. Mm-hmm. And then in the car, as we're talking about this, I said, I'm going to work at being, when these things happen, be a little bit more patient, because I didn't show up for you. So I recognize that this isn't the best way to do it, but I'd like to make it up for you and take you out for a drink. Mm-hmm. To celebrate your victory.
Yeah.
So congratulations, because I'm really proud of you. You worked really hard on that account, and you made a great deal happen. And so, mea culpa, right?
Yep.
And we're good.
Yep.
We didn't do that. See, this is to me, if you're out there and I don't care what age you are, but I'm going to lean into our age. Because it's easy at our age when you meet someone and things get a little tough to go, fuck it. I'll go back out in the dating pool because I've lived by myself for a while. I know how to do my own shit, and I don't need this shit.
Yep.
So the cool thing about what we've done in the past 2+ years is we keep sticking around, and look how fucking rewarding it is. There are so many times, and either one of us could have been like, I'm done. Right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right? Maybe I'm being a little hyperbolic about that. I'm done. I don't mean...
No, there are some moments
it's like, this is not working. Yeah. Right? Or I'm worried about where this is going. How about that?
That's fair. Yeah, okay. That's fair.
But look where we are now. I don't like using the word but. And look where we are now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm just really proud of us.
Yeah.
And,
me too.
All right. So can you tell the other story?
The other story
was about how we were both thinking something and decided to talk about it. I don't know how you bring it up, though.
Yeah. Because I don't want to share all the details of what it was. It was basically a moment between us where I thought you were thinking one thing and you thought I was thinking a different thing. And we talked about it.
And could not stop laughing.
Wait a minute. You thought I was thinking that? And you're like, you thought I was thinking that?
Right.
I can't believe it. And again, another moment that if you don't verbalize it, if you don't talk about it, you might actually believe the story you told in your head
it becomes real.
So what I thought I knew to be the case in this situation between us, or the cause, was not it at all.
Right. And vice versa.
Yeah, and vice versa. And
but I don't know how we started. I think I brought it up.
No,
you did?
I brought it up.
Oh, you did? Okay, I couldn't remember who brought it up.
Yeah, I brought it up. I'm like, so that one thing, is this what you were thinking? And you're like, oh my God, no. No, I thought you were thinking
right.
that.
And then we both started laughing. So you're right. The lesson really is. So let me ask you a question now.
Oh, do.
I think you want to go deep into the pool, babe. I'm going to go there. By the way, I've been checking my phone the whole time. If Sarah and Steve are listening, we've been on this podcast for 44 minutes. No text from Steve yet. So I'm getting the message, right? I'm getting the message. I'm sad but there will be other men who play instruments.
Other boyfriends.
So I think there's two lessons here that I'd like to throw out there. Certainly, I think the one is talk about it, right? Something's on your mind, talk about it. But here's the big lesson I think, look, I'm pointing. I think here's the big lesson that doesn't get talked about often enough. Two things. Be willing to listen and hear it and create a safe environment for your partner. Because we now both feel safer since we've been together 2 years to talk about stuff, right? That maybe in the past we might not have said because we didn't want to potentially upset the other person.
Yep.
Didn't want to look foolish, whatever the reason may be. But now we have a safe environment. And so these things are talked about and they don't create issue, right? Which leads full circle to episode 107 with Bela Gandhi and her Smart Dating Academy, where she has a relationship doctor on. And that woman said you need about 18 months with someone, right? I'm boring you again. Kathy's yawning.
No,
you need
I'm
about
tired.
18 months with someone to really figure things out, right?
Yeah, she threw out, that doctor on her podcast, threw out some stats, and I wish we would have written them down.
Yeah, God, that's right. I
She
forgot.
had some stats about if you get married to within these amount of months.
I think it's
and
6 months or
quick,
less, yeah.
then your percentage, the
Rate of divorce
the
possibility
rate of
goes through
divorce
the roof.
is X, which not surprisingly would be really high.
Yeah.
And then if you stay together, if you get married within 2 years, it's this. But if you stay together like 3 years, your chances of making it are significantly higher. And I get that. You know, I think about you and I, when we met, we were inseparable from the very beginning. And I could see how some people, not you and I, we wouldn't have gotten married so quickly. That wasn't
never
something we ever considered.
Nope.
But I can see how people would, because our love and our connection was
visible,
deep and immediate, right?
Well, and plus everyone could see it.
Yes, and everybody could see it, and the world was affirming how great we were together, and we believe we still are, of course. But I'm really grateful that I can see how that would have been very challenging further along in the relationship if you would have been married right away, because we have been through so much, and we are still going to continue to grow. But these 2.5 years with you have had a lot of challenges, and we keep working on them.
Well, because
and I think that's so huge.
Don't you think because we
living
want
together, absolutely, it's because we want to. I want this to work with you, and I want you to be I want this to be the beginning of the rest of our lives together, and I think that is super significant. And our experiences of living together, working on the home, you talk about finances, you have stressors together. You have to get to know each other's families, those family dynamics. You have to, and all along the way, you're kind of, sniffing each other out, like, what is this new
when we
smell
first
that I
met, you remember when you
smell?
asked us to go butt to nose like dogs do? You said, "Would you?"
Yes.
You said sniff
Well,
my butt.
I just said bend over, and then I went,
You did,
and I was like, ugh.
and then I went.
Ugh. Yes, exactly. You farted in my face.
I did. What is wrong with you?
So I understand that doctor's position on waiting a little longer, because I look back at our journey and I can see that was some significant shit we needed to work through. And again, not to say we're done. I expect to fully continue to have to work on things with you.
I mean,
I just want to work on
that's
them with you.
it. That's it. I mean, if you
both want to show up and work on them.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
there's something there that you deem worthy.
and that's
to
it.
be sure, if you're both not showing up to work on it,
Then get the fuck out.
well,
Like,
I
what are you
don't get
doing?
how it's going to work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get out. Go do something else.
Yeah, both parties need to show up at the same level and be willing, and not necessarily in the same way, but with the idea of understanding each other's way, you know.
It is not easy for me to own when I get crabby and intense on stuff, and when I get closed off.
Mm-hmm.
That's my way of solving it. That's me going into my own head where I can block things out, and it's not easy for me to come out of that and say, hey, I probably shouldn't have done it that way, or thanks for letting me have that. Mm-hmm. And equally, it's not as easy for you to see something happening, right?
Yeah.
And go, let him be him for a while.
Yeah.
Let him. He's throwing a tantrum like a 6-year-old right now. Let him do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all because you want to see this thing through.
Right.
And she even talked about that in the podcast. This doctor, this psychiatrist, psychologist, something like that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, but she talked about these same dynamics, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like you have to be willing to see through all this stuff, the good and the bad. And you and I we've never really had a team us in our lives, right?
Prior to each other.
Yeah. Not the way we have it now.
Not the way we have it now.
And I don't mean to disparage any relationships we each had prior. There were value and necessity and growth
purpose,
and impact and
no doubt.
And all of them. And I would never, ever disparage those. Mm-hmm. I can just say we've talked that we've never experienced this before. And so the beauty of these experiences is that it continues to grow. We're still fuck nuts. We still goof around. We still do stupid shit. You laugh at everything I do. We still have stuff to do in the house we're going to disagree with. We had a little bit of disagreement tonight about what we want to do for the house, right? For the remaining projects. But man, it's fun to figure this shit out with someone who wants to figure it out with you.
Amen.
That's the confidence I get, right?
Yep.
I really wanted to go shallow into the pool tonight, but you took me 51 minutes into some goofy shit.
Hey, are we ready for a card? Can I do this box?
You want, which one is it? Please tell me it's the sex one.
It's the healing edition.
Oh, are we healing?
From the Skin Deep. Oh, man, babe, we are always healing.
Where's the porn edition?
I think it's upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
In the office.
Okay,
here, pick one. We'll just do it random.
We each doing one? Yes. I don't have my glasses on. Hold on a second there. I got to be able to see what I was saying. Hold on a second. Okay. Ooh, that's a good one. How do you describe our relationship to others?
How do I describe
our relationship to others?
I have definitely said this is the easiest relationship I've ever had. And that's not to say it's without work. I have never been with somebody that is so deeply committed to me and our relationship. And you're cute. You're really cute.
I have two words.
Butt.
I do have a cute butt.
You have a cute butt.
I have two answers.
Like you, and you make me laugh.
The first one is kinky.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
how I describe it to others.
Relationship with me.
Yeah, I know. That's how I tell others. Like, what's relationship with Cathy? I'm like, kinky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the first thing I say. Always. Okay. They're like, awesome. I describe it as very simply this: seen. The simplest way to put it.
Like SCENE, seen.
And action. Yes. No. Yes. Whatever you want it to be, honey. I view it as the first time really in my life where I'm truly seen and appreciated for exactly what I am. And that is the most comforting feeling in the world.
Yeah.
To know that I can be myself, and I know one of my kids listens to this, and be able to say, pull my finger to you, and see, and you start to laugh. This morning when I was, where were we? I was at my mom's house where I just had or John's house, a nuclear explosion in my pants. And it's just like, and you said, ladies and gentlemen, what did you say? Ladies, I don't know. You said something like, ladies and gentlemen, we have a toxic incident here in the kitchen. It's, if you can't be yourself in a relationship, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So I feel seen. That's what I tell people.
Yeah. I'm definitely more myself than I ever have been, and to be older in this relationship is even more vulnerable because
How so?
As we get older, and maybe especially for women, there is a greater feeling of vulnerability. We don't have youth on our side. We're not noticed like we used to be. I think women often struggle with being heard in many different environments. And so I found somebody that really sees me too. So it's a good word. I like you feel seen.
Babe,
all right.
This has been a long one. That's what she said.
Woo, okay. Time to
Ready?
go to bed.
It is time to go to
Time
bed.
for these old people to go to bed.
On that note, everybody, see you later. Peace. Jack and Cathy Shit Show outro take 652.
Start off laughing. You just listened to another episode of the Jack and Cathy Shit Show.
Our senior producers are me.
Hey, and me.
This episode was produced, engineered, and mixed by
the amazing Key Honar.
Email your questions, comments, or interesting relationship stories to jackandcathyshitshow@gmail.com. That is Cathy with a C.
Be sure to follow and like our marvelous shit show on Instagram and TikTok at Jack and Cathy Shit Show. Apparently liking and following is a thing.
It is?
Yeah.
This episode was produced by Pint Productions 2022. Point!